Hello my friends, I apologise for it looking quite dark in here at the moment. I'm not filming from a beautiful bush setting today. I'm filming from a Bunnings car park because I've had this massive box sitting in my van for weeks and it's time to address what's inside. So I was researching what insulation I wanted to use on the van because obviously the roof pod is aluminium and I actually have never had any insulation in this van, and before I never even had airflow, so I obviously tolerate heat quite well. However, now that I have to clad this anyway with something, so I might as well put insulation in and see if that will make van life a little bit more comfortable for me. Although it's quite good now that I have airflow, I'm really enjoying that. And to be really honest, I actually haven't noticed much of a difference from when I didn't have the pod. Yeah, the heat, it's certainly not any more hot, which is unusual because, and I'm sorry for the traffic noises, I've got my microphone on, hopefully that's enough. Yeah, it's black, so I sort of thought, oh, maybe it would, because it's black, it would attract more heat and it would be, but I haven't noticed it, so that's been interesting. But maybe that's because I've got the windows that can give me the airflow, so, and you know, the heat can escape that way, and with the skylight, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, I'll take you through what I've chosen for the insulation. I've got to a point in my life where I'm trying to not have as much chemical products around, that I don't want to use chemical products. I mean, I've always been quite sustainable, but I just, for my own personal health as well, I don't want to surround myself with chemical products. So I've just been like working through, like trying to get rid of any plastic and all this sort of thing. So when I was looking at the insulation, I was like, well, this is another thing where it could, you know, the heat's going to be there. What am I breathing in, you know? So I've gone with a natural fibre. I've gone with wool because wool's, you know, obviously a natural, sustainable material, but it also, I think it has quite good sound barrier qualities too. So you could actually put soundproofing on the ceiling, and I did look into that, and a lot of people were saying, just FYI, like if you do use soundproofing, you really only need to use like it on a portion, only like 50% of the roof, because it sort of, it absorbs the sound into that one spot. But this is sort of has a bit of soundproofing anyway, apparently, the wool. So I kind of thought, well, let's go with that. And yeah, I did look into other stuff, but I don't know. My mind was pretty much already set on this anyway. So some of the problems I might find is that, I don't know what the word is called, like it might like not stay in place. It might drop down a bit because I'm not going to use an adhesive to like glue it to the roof or anything. I'm actually going to place it up there and put wire across it and then just gaffer tape the wire, because it's a really light product. In saying that, I saw someone else do that, so I don't know if that's going to work. That's what we're going to try first. So yeah, I bought one box. Let's see if that'll work. I did measure it out and I think one box is enough. 2 boxes was definitely going to be too much. I got it from Van Market online and I think it was maybe 300. I'll link it in the link below. And yeah, but wool is like, you know, warm in winter, cool in summer. Obviously it's got to do that for the animals, so that it comes from. So yes, let's give it a go. So the tools that we're going to need today: scissors. I've just got some thin string, clear string, which I had in the back of my van, and I've got gaffer tape as well, electrical tape, and the actual bats, well, the wool itself has come in bats, so I think that's going to help it to sort of stay in place and so it won't sort of fall down with the vibrations of the van. And obviously once I put cladding on as well, I think that'll sort of tighten it in place. The thickness of it is as thick as the distance between the beams and the back of the pod. So I should just be able to cut it to size and put it in place really easy. It's going to be so easy. Okay, that's what we're going to do. Now, I would recommend when you are installing the wool insulation to wear some goggles, because the wool fibres do come off quite easy, and I think there's a bit of dust in there as well. So I was actually getting a fair bit in my eyes, so, as well as all over the van. So it's actually quite good here. There's a bit of a lip underneath here, so that actually is sticking quite nicely up there. And then I've just put that string's not overly tight, but I might put another bit of sticky there, I think. And then that should hold that. I think this will be a bit more of a challenge because I don't have a lip under there to sort of hold it in place. Anyway, we'll see. So wool insulation is non-toxic and it is flame resistant. It is also environmentally friendly, so you can return it to the earth once you're finished with it, and there will be no damage done to the earth. It's easy to install and it can be shoved into small places as well if you've got some small cracks and things that are just a bit hard to get to. Now, it is resistant to mould because it's a keratin. However, there was some conflicting information online about that. So it's supposed to regulate moisture, but yes, some were saying that maybe it would be susceptible to moisture, and it can also be susceptible to insects. Being the brainiac that I am, it makes more sense to put the string up first and actually then tuck the wool insulation into it. So that's what we're going to do now. Okay, so we had 10 bats to start with, and I've only used 2 of them, and I've been able to do the majority now of the walls. So now we're going to work on the roof, and I think we might use another 2 or 3 bats for that. But using these bats, I think rather than just getting like clumped wool is better, because I think with the bats it's less likely to sort of fall down into the cracks and leave a gap. So yeah, that's what I read online anyway. Well, now I have all wool fibres in my eyes. I think I might actually have to do a couple of cross wires there as well. I sort of was debating which way around to do those bats, but anyway, I've chosen that, and I'll do a couple of strings across here to try and put it up a bit higher. This is definitely messier than something that is, you know, more like a foil or something. I'm getting fibres everywhere. And obviously, it's not sitting as nicely in the roof at the moment. But I think once I've got the cladding up there, it's fine anyway. The string is just kind of there to keep it in place until I put the cladding on. And I still haven't quite worked the cladding out yet, but that's why I'm in a Bunnings car park. Because I can just run in there and get what I need to do that. So yeah, hopefully there's not too much cutting involved. Okay, so I have done pretty much the roof pod itself. I had 10 bats to start with and I have 4 left. So I'm glad I only got 1 box. I am going to start putting insulation in just this section here as well. I can kind of stuff it in there a little bit because I think my cladding I'm going to put up over that for this section as well. So yeah, feels a little bit more enclosed now. I hope once I put the white cladding on, whatever it is I decide to put on there, I'll see what the staff at Bunnings recommend. Yeah. It kind of smells like a shearing shed in here now too. So this first night in the van, I didn't have the cladding over the wall, and I will admit it did set my allergies off. I was having watering eyes, etc., but it's been completely fine since after that. I've put a little bit of cladding on now, so yeah, happy days.